Yo, what's up guys, it's Gabzzz here, and welcome to the best and worst from Apostoli's Anagnorisis. This is, I think, the first project from Apostoli, one of my favorite underground artists right now. The Waterloo native is easily one of the best hidden gems in the Greater Toronto area right now. His music has a relatively commercial play on some really alternative hip-hop shit, mostly plug-and-B though. I discovered Stoli through his manager Devon, who I've interviewed before as one half of the Grammy haters. And I'm not gonna lie, originally, I wasn't too sure about Apostoli's music. His most recent single at the time was Political. Not in the fact that it was political, but it was literally called Political. And let's just say it was interesting to say the least. With lyrics like, how the fuck you claim you real, you know you ain't, you just like Israel. And the whole overall song being very TikTok driven almost. I was skeptical. It eventually grew on me though, and eventually I became a fan. When it comes to this project, I actually heard an early version about 9 months ago from his manager Devon, which I think just shows how long this project has been in the works. And just from the title, you can almost feel the vibe of the project, or at least the theme. Anagnorisis is the point in the play or novel in which a principal character recognizes or discovers another character's true identity or the true nature of their own circumstances. So in another sense, this is Apostoli realizing that he's on the come up. Or at least that's what I read from the title. Anyway, let's get right into the music because there's some fucking crazy shit on this thing. We'll start with the intro. Icarus always dies. Instantly, we get an example of the deeper meaning Apostoli is going into with this project. Stoli seems to love some Greek mythology or just really complicated words. With this track, he uses Icarus, which in Greek mythology is the son of Daedalus, who ignored his father and flew too close to the sun, which then caused his death. You can hear this referenced in the song itself. The song is very plug-esque and serves very well as an intro song. It isn't necessarily the catchiest thing, but it's definitely a song you could probably put in the background of a function and it'll set the mood right. You know, when you have like one or two friends over, but there's more people coming and you don't want to get too drunk or too high or whatever. It's that type of song, you know, just put it in the background and start talking. I'll give it a 7.1. Next, we get Prove Wrong, which was chronologically the second single off of this project. It features what I believe to be the first official collaboration between Apostoli and Kid Quasi. Now, this track is straight heat, like full out 103 mile per hour fastball. The instrumental is perfect, the chorus is catchy, and the verses hit. Everything on this track just clicks. It's even at the time of recording this, 12th on my Apple Music replay playlist for this year. It doesn't disappoint in any way. And that's why I gave it a 9.2. Next, we have Fall Down on My Knees. This track features a lot of the classic video game synths that are riddled all over this project. It's another very catchy chorus. The flow on the verse is probably the best flow I've heard on this project. I do like the slow intro, which is pretty customary for the plug vibe, but this is one of many songs of this project that I feel could be a little bit longer. All in all, I'll give it a 7.6. Next, we get Play Your Role, the first single off this project. And it's another bang. The vibe of the instrumental is just so intriguing. I literally can only visualize it from the promo they did with the Peter Griffin on the skateboard. Like, that's the only way I can visualize this track. The chorus talking about the tomfoolery this woman is on, and the fact that Stoli just stopped giving a fuck. It's something that I feel like everyone can relate to, whether you're a guy, girl, everyone can enjoy this song. This song is so good, it's literally #1 on my Apple Music replay playlist for this year so far. My only gripe would maybe be the length of the song, but I think that's even nitpicking because it fits so well in the 1 minute and 40 seconds that it is that I would ignore the length. It's a 9.3 in my opinion. Next, we get Good Riddance. This track features the underground legend that is SPG West on the chorus as well as his own verse. I think for me, this track just lacks a bit of energy. It just feels flat. Like, I'm imagining this song being on at a show and there would be no emotion. Which doesn't necessarily mean anything. Not every song has to be for show and whatever. But I think the stylistic laziness of this just didn't quite work for me. Especially when the instrumental is doing so much of the heavy lifting. I gave it a 6.8. Next, we have Cope With Love, which has a beautiful soundscape in the beginning, building into this hard-hitting bass line and catchy lyricism. It's pretty much par for the course on this project, but something specifically about this song feels a little bit busy. It could just be chalked up to the style, but something about the verse feels like a lot. The hook, though, is beautifully done, and overall the track is like a 7.4. Next, we get Nothing Come for Free. This song, from the second I heard it 9 months ago, I knew it was going to be one of my favorites on this project. The song's build is just something you have to experience for yourself. I have had this song on repeat for the week since it dropped, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving. The message, nothing comes for free, is just simply true. To talk of losing yourself just to prove you're trying is something that, as a creative, I relate to on a deeper level. It's just beautifully aesthetic, relatable, and catchy, while also fitting the project so perfectly. The only thing is, this one is short, and I think they could have extended it. Maybe even like a feature or something, because you've already got that drop from the chorus to the first verse. If you had that same drop or a similar one into like a hard-hitting verse from another underground legend, it would just... chef's kiss. But again, I also think it would be very tough, because the rest of the song is so good, to extend it and have the perfect verse from someone else who doesn't necessarily understand the creative vision of the song. So I get why there isn't one. So in my opinion, it is an 8.9. And finally, we have the outro, I Think I'm Gonna Make It. It's a perfect outro track, really puts into perspective what Apostoli is trying to do with this project. It encapsulates the vibe and the message of the project well. I will say the I love you thanks at the ending, could have done without. I feel like it's a little bit corny and basic, but it's the outro track, so who the fuck cares? I'll give it a 7.3. Overall, Anagnorisis is an incredible statement piece from Apostoli. It's a project that in 5 years could be looked upon as the beginning of an underground star. Everything from theme to message and overall cohesion of the project is on point. It's genuinely probably my favorite project of the year so far. I would have definitely have loved it to be a little longer, but sometimes the length of the project just comes down to artistry, and for that reason I'm not going to die on the hill of it should be longer, lengthen the tracks. I know we live in an age where ADHD brains are just everywhere, like everyone's attention spans are fucked. So that can factor into why it is so short. Also, if you factor in the preview EP Malik, it just shows that the vision for this project has been there the whole time, and it's never really wavered, and that's awesome to see. I think that everything put together, this track is an 8.0. So let me know what you think of Apostoli's Anagnorisis in the comments down below, and be sure to follow for more music content.